Okay, my presentation is an ongoing comparative study of different applied FUE techniques, instrumentations, and storage solution in one patient. Who is this poor guy? Burak. Burak is here. He's from my IT department. I'm taking care of him every day. And before starting the study, I marked his back. Can you turn, Burak? Can you show it? Here you can see I made SMP with dermopigmentation, not to lose the areas, and I placed I checked different types of result. If you want, you can check it after the presentation. I will give you this paper so you can easily see which area, what type of graft we placed, but I want to make a summary now. Okay. As a control group, I use 0.7mm punch with 0.9mm blade, custom blade. I use 5mm depth with 45 degree incision, and I placed in this square, I placed 30 graft at the right side, 45 graft, and I compared to regrowth rates. I couldn't see any difference, 97 and 96% of regrowth with 30 and 35 grafts. Interesting, when I place 70 grafts with the same 0.7mm punch, 0.9mm blade, 5mm depth, I got also, I was not expecting this, I got also 93% of regrowth. And I used two different grafts. I used splitted single ones and transected single ones. And I want to see with this, I want to see if there will be any change in the regrowth rate. With transected one I got 90%, splitted one I got 80% regrowth. And I compare deeply and superficial placed grafts. Sometimes because after the surgery I see the grafts are a little bit out. Sometimes they look a little bit deep, depending the incisions, and I want to see if regrowth rate is related by, and I use 0.7mm punch, 0.9mm blade. In the first group I use 6mm depth, in the second one I use 3mm depth with 45 incisions per degree, and I got a better regrowth in deeply placed, and you can see at the right side superficials I got 85% acceptable regrowth, but lower than that deeply placed. In this group I use 0.9mm punch with 1.1mm blade, and the second one 0.6mm blade with 0.8mm blade. I want to see if bigger punch regrowth rate is better, if this supporting tissue around the follicle is helping my regrowth rate. And I got in the first group 96, in the second group I got 90% of regrowth. And what is this? In this one I wanted, I'm trying to make my blade incision smaller because I'm using bigger incision than Jerry and other surgeons. For example, I'm using 1.1, and I want to see if I make my incisions narrow, if this pressure will affect my regrowth rate. And I use 0.8mm punch, but I use 0.6mm blade, and we placed these grafts in this narrow area, and we got 90% very good regrowth rate. And I want to check the incisions degree. I use the same punch, same blade, 0709, 5mm depth. In the first graft, you know that we are using different angles in temple peaks, very close to the skin surface. I use 20 degree incisions and in 80 degree, nearly acute angle. And I checked the regrowth rate. Superficial regrowth rate is less when I compare with 80 degree incisions. This is my result. And I check if sagittal incisions, because I'm using coronary incisions, I want to see if sagittal incisions is affecting regrowth rate. I didn't see a real, yes, 86 is lower when I compare with the others, but I'm not sure about that, about just one case. This is These all studies is with one patient, and it's not statistically scientific and meaningful, but I want to share it with you what I got, so maybe you can add something. I think this is important to compare many things together in one patient. You can see the result. I got 86% of regrowth rate with sagittal incisions. And I tried micromotor. I use high RMP, 30,000 RMP, it's a high number. And I want to see if the grafts will be damaged by this high speed friction. No, 90% regrowth with this, even it's 30,000 RMP, is no problem with the regrowth rate. And I tried beard. I know Lorenzo is getting very high regrowth rates by beard, but I'm not doing it in my daily practice. It's just for the study. Maybe my graft quality is not so good. I only got 76% of regrowth rate by the beard hair. And I compare room temperature solid and 4 Celsius saline. I got the same, but these are just 30 grafts, so they stay maximum 1.5 hours in the waiting solution. So I got the same regrowth rate with the room temperature and the 4 Celsius with the saline solution. This is interesting. You know that in some cases when the patient comes to us to want to make a frontline design, they have rows here. It's not easy to handle. I sometimes decide to ignore that, sometimes trying to imitate. But mostly, in some cases, we are ignoring the original direction of the hair. I want to see if this, when I'm ignoring the original direction, if this will change my regrowth rate. You can see the hair direction is going down, and I place them to the right down, and I got 90% no. But Jose told me that you see, when I'm doing when I'm ignoring the original direction, I am losing the original hair also. I'm cutting them under the skin. It's obvious, you can see here. And this is another study. I wanted to compare split and partial transected single grafts. Another area. I placed this graft, original single grafts. These are the grafts that I placed, and I want to see what's the regrowth. Okay, 90%. I placed 10 and I got 9. And they are all single. These are partial transected single ones. I placed them. I got 70% regrowth rate, but I think the most important thing, you see the green one, the others are red, they are single ones. One of them is a double. It's a double graft. It's all probably the one. I'm not sure which one. Maybe at the upper side, at the left one, they grow double, not single. Sometimes when I'm using transected singles in the front line, sometimes I'm getting surprises because I didn't put any multiple grafts in the front line, but when he comes back, I can see a double or triple in the front line. Because of this transection, they are maybe growing multiple. That's the reason. So I'm trying to find original single ones for the first front line, not to have this type of surprises. I want to see that if it's working or not. I got it. And I cut the grafts from the middle, and I placed the upper side. And I want to see if they will grow or not, because I hear many things. If you cut from this angle, if you cut from that angle, they are growing, blah, blah. Dr. Vo go doing something like this. And I want to see if they are growing or not. I got 0 big growth, and I cut from the bottom again. If I cut very, like if they will grow, I use the upper side. No, nothing. I couldn't get anything. And this is another study. You know that why I changed to keep, because of these curved grafts, and I want to make a study. I want to see if they are growing, and I curve the grafts. I put them all double, and I place them. I want to see what's going on. You see, I got 80% regrowth, just 10 grafts. But when I count the number of tear, because they are all double, I got only 65% of regrowth rate by hair. So then after that study, I focus on keep more. Thank you.